What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Coach Kai, back at it again with another video, bringing y'all some more game and value. Greatly appreciate all the support. You know, we're trying to be on this consistent grind every single day. You know, we might slack a little bit, but it's just all about showing up. You know, it's all about, and that's anything in life. Just show up, be there, get that job done, and you know, we're gonna live our best life. But today's video, we're gonna be talking about how to have a confident mindset. So first off, we're gonna be talking about procrastination. You know, as we know, a lot of people, that's, you know, a lot of people's biggest things in life that holds them back in life is procrastination. You know, they say they put off these things like, oh, I'm gonna do it next time, I'm gonna do it next week, I'm gonna do it tomorrow, you know, and I'm a living testimony of that. I will admit, I'm not gonna act like, you know, I'm perfect, because I'm definitely not. A lot of these topics that I go through on my channel, you know, I've been through myself, or, you know, I'm still trying to become a better man, you know, but I'm just trying to help everybody out all across the world, you know what I mean? Why not share, you know, my life experiences with everybody else who can relate to me, right? So, you know, that's what we're gonna do. But procrastination, as you know, a lot of us, we procrastinate. You know, we say we're gonna do something and then we put it off, or we never get it done. You know, and I found out how to get rid of procrastination is to put dates on stuff. You know, if you hold yourself accountable, you know, that's a big one. Not holding yourself accountable is one of the biggest things nowadays, is because, you know, people are so used to, oh, I'll do it next time. Oh, I don't need to, you know, write stuff down on the calendar. Oh, I don't need to. They think it's corny, you know, to have a goal notebook or something, or write your goals down and stuff like that. You know, they think that's corny, but you can't think about it like that. You know, use like little tools like that to the best you can and put dates on them. You know, when you got a new goal, I like to put dates on it and say, okay, I'm gonna get it done by this date. You know, I just started doing that recently. I'm gonna get it done this date. And I noticed the more you do that, the less you'll procrastinate on things you get done in your goals in life. So, you know, if you do that, like notebook, you put it in your phone, you know, your notes, anything like that, anything to where you can actually visualize it and you can see like, okay, this is what I gotta do. I gotta get it done by this time, you know, this date, whatever. You know, just like in school, you know, in school we was like having to, you know, they had assignments that we had to turn in by certain dates. It's the same. That's how life is. That's how your goals should be. Your goals should be like, okay, I'm gonna get it done by this date. I'm gonna get it done by, you know, this, how soon did it? Because it's like, when you don't have it written down, it's easy to be like, okay, I'm gonna get it done. But then it's like, okay, but when? You know, when you gonna get it done? You gonna like get it done can mean like next week. That can mean 2 weeks from now, a month from now, a year from now. You know what I mean? Like this is why, you know, a lot of people aren't where they are want to be in their life, because procrastination is one of our biggest cons with life, you know, and we all go through it at some point in life. We've all went through it, and especially if it's something that we really know we got to work hard at, you know, and that, you know, it's not gonna just come and fall in our lap. That's something that, you know, we all struggle from at some point in one part of our life. So just always remember that, you know, try to, you know, just do different types of tools, whatever works for you, to where you can hold yourself accountable and, you know, really process and get things done in a timely manner. Because, you know, because time don't wait on nobody. As you know, time is constantly going, and time is one of our biggest important things in this life. Next up, we're going to be talking about not thinking negative about topics. So I know a lot of people, like, mentally, they're always questioning themselves, man, I don't know if I can do this, I don't know if I can do that. You know, the more you can, like, get your mindset to shift out of that mindset, excuse me, shift out of that mindset, yo. Oh, shoot. Shift out of that mindset, the more you'll think negative. The less you'll think negative, if that makes sense. So I notice a lot of people, and I'm sure you have too, if it's not yourself, you know, you always tend to think negative about things. Like, I don't know if I can do this. It's so hard. It's so, you know, you ever looked at something, you know, we all been there. You ever looked, you know, it can be like a jump. You ever looked at a jump and be like, man, I really don't want to do this. Like, I don't know if I can do this, you know, like, because I'm afraid of heights personally. So, you know, I'm not going to be jumping off no cliffs and stuff. Like, that's just not me. But, you know, you ever been there, you know, you just like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do this and that. And that, like, that's procrastination. And that's also thinking negative, you know. So it's like, the longer you sit on that cliff and just get it done and not get it done, it's like, we going to be there all day. You know what I mean? So these are just things, like, you have to always think positive about things, because these are very important. You know, when it comes to, you know, getting your goals done and getting, you know, things that you want to do in your life, you know, you have to think positive, excuse me. You have to think positive about it. You know, don't think like, oh, I don't question yourself. Constantly questioning yourself, it's only going to allow your mindset to shift in a negative way. And that happens time and time again. And so you just got to come out of that mind state. The third one is working out. Now, working out isn't just a health thing. It's a mental thing. You know, it's not just a physical thing. It's a mental thing. You know, people like to say, you know, look good, feel good, you know, and that's a big saying, but it's not even just that. Like mentally, you know, when you start to work out, if you've never worked out before, of course, it's going to be hard in the beginning. Everything is hard in the beginning. That's why you have to get through the hard times so that you can get to the good times. So in other words, you have to, you know, fight through the pain of that. When you first getting out and you all out of breath, you know, you might be on a treadmill or something. You got to fight through that. So then, you know, months from that day, you can be on a treadmill and it's like nothing. It's like clockwork. You know, you raising that incline, you know, you digging, you know, you just got to constantly dig. That's just how it is. So when it comes to working out, that can definitely help when it comes to, you know, confidence mindset, because you look good, you feel good. And so I encourage you, you know, if you've never been to a gym, you're watching this video right now, you've never been to a gym, you know, go to a gym. You don't got to do nothing crazy. Just go to a gym, you know, your local gym, or just go for a walk. You know, any type of physical, preferably a gym though, any type of physical activity though, you know, allows your mind to like just get a break from everything, from like real life, and just shift. Because when I'm in a gym, that's exactly what it is. Like I have to be working out because like it's like not just a health thing. It's not just because I want a solid physique as a man. It's also for my mental state. You know, I just don't feel right. I don't feel myself. I feel lazy. I feel like, you know, I'm in a box, you know. So, you know, when you open your horizons to new things like working out like that, you know, it really helps. So always remember that. And, you know, if y'all need help with that, make sure you go down below in the comment section. Hit me on IG, Coach Nakai, and I'll get y'all right with that meal plan. Like always will come through for y'all. So let me know. Next thing we're talking about is making more money. You know, obviously, you know, you hear a lot of people say, mostly men, because we are the providers and stuff. People like women and stuff. Women and people look at us for the providers and stuff, you know. And so a lot of guys, you know, when the finances aren't right, and we all been there at some point, unless you was just raised, you know, with a spoon in your mouth when you grew up. You know, a lot of guys, especially mainly, you know, when the bank isn't right, we not the happiest, you know, and it starts to show through our character, you know. So this is a big mindset thing, because this can be it can hurt you, or it can like help you. You know, if you got the money, you know, it can help you. If you don't, it can hurt you, you know, because you can't fix a broke mindset, but you can fix a broke bank account. You know what I mean? So there's a difference there. So you always got to remember that. Always be positive about it. Always be knowing, you know, learning new skills to know how to make money. You know, open your horizon. Don't ever be comfortable with how much money you're making. Like the ball is always rolling. You know, it's always another man next to me. Not that we're trying to compete with other people. You are only in competition with yourself. But at the end of the day, it's always somebody trying to get better than you and the next man, and just trying to be great. Because a lot of us, most of us is trying to be great. Not all. I ain't gonna say all, because most of us are trying to be great, right? We try to do the right things, and we feel like some things aren't working out. I've been there. I'm sure you've been there. But a lot of times, you know, we get in our head. We're like, are we ever gonna make, you know, an extra 10K a month, extra 15K a month, extra 5K a month, extra 1,000 a month, however much it is? You just have to trust the process and trust the grind. You know, you can't always look at the numbers, you know. Of course, to a certain extent, you have to start, you know, being more serious about it, but you don't always have to rely on the numbers, because the numbers will come if you're putting in, you know, repetition every single day. You know, just like I'm making these videos, so I'm putting in repetition, the views is going to start to go up. If I'm studying film, you know, if you play sports, you know, you got to study film. You know, I play basketball, and after every game, we studying, you know, film. I'm studying what I can do better. You know, my family's getting on me what I can do better. So that's all repetition. That's all studying film. So you always have to backtrack and not think you know it all, and not think, oh, let me just put all these videos out. Because you can put 1,000 videos out. That don't mean they always going to get 5K, 10K, 15, you know, 20K views each time. That doesn't mean nothing. That don't mean you always going to, you know, make money off of it. You know, but the repetition, you showing up, is what counts. So just always remember that when it comes to, you know, to making more money and leveraging your money. So the last but not least we're going to be talking about is removing all negative people out your life. So this is a big one, because a lot of people, you know, they're so used to people, they don't want to remove like certain people out of their life. They're just like, oh, you know, I've known them for years, so-and-so for years, and, you know, I'm so used to them. Everybody's so comfortable. Nobody wants to hurt anybody's feelings, you know, but sometimes, you know, as men especially, we gotta, not just people, but women, you know, a lot of women who are negative. I'm not saying all, you don't gotta, you know, get rid of y'all girls. I ain't saying that. I'm just saying, like, a negative woman who's not pushing you to be better, who doesn't have goals herself, that can impact your life in the wrong ways. And we all know that. You know, a lot of us, maybe we all know that, maybe we don't. You know, some of us may, you know, some of us may not. But, you know, when it comes to, you know, just people in general, you have to let those types of people go, you know, out of your life in order to, you know, progress your lifestyle and progress the kind of life you want and manifest it. Because a negative ear is always going to be weak to a man. You know, they're always going to, you're going to think, oh, like, I ain't worried about him, you know, but eventually it's going to catch up to you, because then you start to question yourself. And that's going to cause you to get even more of a confident mindset as a man, because you're like, okay, you know, I got the supportive woman by my side. I got my family by my side. Like, I can do this. You know, I genuinely can do this. And that's going to always cause you to, you know, want to do better and never give up on your dreams and aspirations. So that's going to be it for today's video, y'all. Greatly appreciate all love, support. Make sure you leave a big thumbs up for me. Greatly appreciate that. And, you know, if you need those workout plans, please let me know. Follow the IG down below. Be in the comment section. Coach Nakai on IG. Without further ado, we out. Peace.